Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ISM manufacturing room and also CL inventories, the oil inventory report. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-minute trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes, so please trade carefully. And there is actually you could have 6 hours left. We're not starting our classes until 4 p.m. 4:30 actually, so you could sign up until the classes begin. So don't forget, join tlcnow.com. And if you haven't upgraded and you want to upgrade to the classes or to the trade rooms, check your email, please. You can upgrade. So don't forget, you can still sign up for the challenge. A couple hours left until the classes start. Okay, let's talk about ISM manufacturing. So I want to give everyone a heads up that I have an appointment that I cannot miss, and I'm going to have to leave before the oil trade actually takes place, unfortunately. So what I'll do, I think, is maybe I will leave my charts on so you can watch the trade, because I have to leave about 10 minutes before the oil trade. But that won't affect the ISM. ISM's at 10 o'clock. So there is an error on the investing.com calendar. They have their news events mixed up. They've got oil and gas taking place at 10 o'clock, and it doesn't. But let me just try refreshing, see if they fixed their screens. No, they haven't. So it's taking up a lot more space than it normally would. You have the gasoline inventories and distillate, and that stuff is 10:30, not at 10 o'clock, but it's screwing up the news for the ISM. So I'm going to ultimately, when we get closer to the trade, to the ISM news, I might move my calendar just to the side so we can watch the ES. Because otherwise, well, I think we can watch it anyway. I'm watching the ES on the right, and I'll be trading gold on the left. That's the plan. So let's look at the DMM. And we'll take a look at the DMM. And you can see that the DMM is somewhat inconsistent. So what we've got is you've got a stop in February, you had a win in January, a stop in December, a win in November, a stop in October, a win in September. So I suppose if you go by the pattern, I actually think that February was a big whipsaw, a big whipsaw. So, if you look at the spikes that we've had in the past 6 months, the biggest spike was 58 ticks. So I've got an alternative trap trade that really tests very well, quite well. And I'm going to trade the trap trade on this report. I might make a minor change to the tiers and to the stop to make it a tiny bit safer. Okay. I might do a stop of 25, but I'll decide in a minute or two. What I'm thinking is 30 and 45 on the tiers. 30 and 45 on the tiers with a stop of 25. That's what I'm leaning towards. So on a trap trade, I've got position 1 is one contract, position 2 is one contract, and the stop is 25, and then my first tier is 30, my second tier is 45, my activation prep time is 5 seconds, and the time of the event is 10 o'clock. And then I'm just labeling it gold ISM. And I'll save the template, ISM manufacturing, GC, and I'll put today's date. And it's the first day of March. Unbelievable. I don't think we've seen a fraction. We had maybe a fraction of snow where I'm staying right now. A fraction of snow. Virtually nothing. Hard to believe. Perfectly okay by me. I'm not big on snow in the winter. I like snow in the summer, not in the winter. So I want to thank all of our folks that are watching us on YouTube. We're streaming. This is our stream of the week. So thanks everyone for watching on YouTube. Hit the like button. Right, Alan, I'm sure you had a lot of snow in your welcome picture, your welcome video. So that's the way I'm going to trade this today. Tiers of 30 and 45. The time of the event is 10 o'clock. And I'll put it, I'm going to trade for real. And 2 contracts with a stop of 25. That's how I'm going to trade. Let me see if I have a couple of videos that I want to show you. I did quite a bit of testing on the trap also. And the trap tests well with gold. It tests very well. And when you have a report that's inconsistent on breakouts, and when you get good testing on a trap, on a report that we've been looking at trap testing for a significant part of the year. So it's not like this particular event, it's not like we haven't looked at the trap trade as a possible alternative. We have. So it is a very possible setup. Now, if you want to be the ultimate in safety, then the setup could be, so why do I say if you want the ultimate in safety? What do I mean? If you look at your spikes, our biggest spike was 58 ticks. So your outer tier plus the stop should be significantly bigger than 58. So our outer tier is 45, and we have a stop of 25. So what's 45 and 25? 72. So it would have to move more than 72 ticks to stop us out. And if you look at the last 6 months, we haven't had those types of moves. Okay? We just haven't. So it seems very safe to use the setup that we're using. Okay? And you could see the trap, if you were watching, the trap in January gave a very good opportunity for profit. And then in February, it fills the first order. And then it starts to reverse. So I moved the stop, and then it started going back down again. So it wasn't that big of a profit, but still gave an opportunity for profit. And then we go to November, fills the first order, the second order, and then it starts to reverse a little bit. Right there. So you get an opportunity. There are opportunities in November. And then in October, it shoots and fills both tiers. And then it starts moving in the opposite way from our entry. And then it goes in the direction we want, and we get an opportunity for profit there. So the trap has good testing. If you look at, let's take a look at what actually happened on the breakouts. Give me 1 second. And then I want to explain, there's a couple of things I want to explain about the trap trades. You make sure that your charts are set up properly and they're wide enough so you see the orders. So our last live trap trade, let me show you January. I can show you January because it's here. January, it took place with Jolts. All right. Jolts has become a fairly significant report. It can have an effect on other news. So January, it worked. It would have worked as a breakout, and it also worked as a trap. Because there's the reversal. It shoots down, and then you get a good reversal. So it gave us both. It gave us both. So that happens sometimes. That absolutely happens sometimes. And then I think I have February. I might have February. Let me double check. No, it's going to be, let's see. Yep. February 1st. And you have a really good reversal, right? Which would make for an excellent trap trade. You notice that move? First it goes up, then it goes down. Excellent move for a trap trade. Okay, watch, you got 7 seconds, and then the news is going to be released. And it shoots up, actually hits a target, but reverses so fast, couldn't get out. Very interesting, okay? That would be a really good trap trade. Really good. So you've got a report that possibly can do 2 different things. It can break out and it can trap, okay? The breakout is somewhat inconsistent. That's the thing you have to realize. When you look at the testing and the real trading, the breakout's been inconsistent. If you want to use the breakout, if you like breakouts better, it's a bracket of 10. It's a bracket of 10. And we've got 959.59 on the entry. 959.59. We've got targets of 8 and 15 and a stop at 20. I would probably, if I were trading the breakout, I'd probably use 8 and 25 on my second target. Being prepared to manage the trade if it doesn't hit the second target. but I think I would, based on every time that it won, we had targets that average, let's say it averages about 40-ish, and the bracket's 10. You could certainly try for 25 ticks on your second target, would be completely reasonable. Okay? Would be very reasonable. And the stop is 20. Cancel. If there's no fill 15 seconds or so, I would cancel. If you get no fill 15 seconds, I'd cancel. Now, on the trap trade, a couple of things that are important. When you enable a trap trade, you get buttons across the top, right? When you enable a trap trade, you get our buttons across the top. If your chart is not spread far apart, right? Now, let me just stop for 1 second. There is a news report right now. It's called Final Manufacturing. And I'm just curious. It's causing gold, you could see it, to chop up and down like that. That's probably being caused, believe it or not, by the news report called Final Manufacturing. What's funny, see, here it is. Here's the news. It's 47.3 versus 47.8. Not a big difference. Not a big difference. But I'm not seeing it. Let's see if it was on the chart. Yeah, there it is. Manufacturing PMI, also known as final manufacturing. A little bit worse than expected news. A little bit worse. Not giving us a tradable move on gold. Maybe a little bit better move on the ES on that. All right. But that's a report. I spent, no joke, years trying to find a good setup for it. I never was able to find a really good setup for it, unfortunately. And it's just not moving gold very much to speak of. Okay, getting back to our trap trade and getting back to the concept of making sure that your chart is wide enough so that you see the buttons. See how there's these buttons on the top? Sometimes your trap trade screen, your chart might be narrower. If it's narrow, you won't see all your buttons. And then when you're in the middle of a trap trade, if you need to use the cancel button cancels the second order if it doesn't get filled. And you want to take it off the chart so it's not in the way. Okay? Remember how a trap trade works. The trap trade puts 2 orders above the price, 2 orders below the price. And we're going to go short if the market moves up, and we're going to go long if the market moves down. So see, in this case, 1 order got filled. The market went down and it filled the first order long. But you notice still the second order is there. If that order doesn't fill and the price starts to reverse like it's doing now, you want to cancel the outer tier. The outer tier is the order that didn't fill, okay? And that's because it's in the way of your stop. If you want to move your stop to break even plus, you want to get rid of that order. You could click the X to cancel it, or you could click the cancel button up here, cancel. But if your charts are very narrow, you might not see the cancel button, and you might panic, right? You'll go, oh my goodness, where's my cancel button? You'll forget that your chart's not narrow and you don't understand what's going on. So just a reminder, make sure that your charts are wide enough when you trade the trap. It usually comes up as an issue when we're looking at or trading two different setups at the same time. For instance, we might be trading a breakout on the left side, on the left chart, and we might be trading the trap trade on the right chart. And my right chart, just because of the way I set up my charts personally, my right chart is not as wide as my left. So you just don't want to forget to show the buttons. That's all. It's just a reminder. So that when you're in the middle of a trade and you need the button, you don't panic. Okay? So you've got the break even button. The break even button, if you're in a profit, it'll move your stop to break even plus a tick. You have the close button. That's the same as the close button on Chart Trader. It'll close the trade. You've got the adjust button. The adjust button is a button that we don't use. It has to do with the way we used to use the trap trade years ago. And we use it differently nowadays because the markets are more volatile. And that's okay. And then you have the cancel outer tier button. I just explained that. That button we use. We use the cancel outer tier if the first order gets filled and the second tier or the second order does not. It's not the end of the world. If both orders don't get filled, you just cancel the outer tier. And if both of the orders fill and you want to combine the orders, they're obviously, if both your orders fill, they're going to be in different places because they're going to fill at different locations. If you want to combine them into one order, then you can use the combine button to combine 2 or 3 orders into one position. You'll still have the same amount of orders, but they'll all be at the same price. And it combines the orders to the closest order to the current price at the time. So the setup we're using is a 25 tick stop. Tiers of 30 and 45. The time of the event is 10. Our activation time is 5 seconds. And there's just something telling me, let's be extra safe today. 30 and 50, all right? 30 and 50. $30 and $50, 10 o'clock event, activation 5, stop 25. That's my setup. Okay? That's my setup. ISM manufacturing, March 1st, 2023. Cannot believe it's March. And I'm not going to say anything stupid like March roars in like a forget it. I won't say something that ridiculous and that stupid. So, who has a question? Anybody have any questions? Anybody? Nobody? Not a single question. Okay. I'm just looking to see who's here. And just because your name is here, you could have the trade room open. At the training today, it will be explained how you get access to the software. Let's check our time sync. Let's check our time sync. I wish I'm confused as to how to pronounce your first name. Is it Therit? Therit? Is that correct? Therit? Or I just don't. It's a mystery. Therit? Therit? If I get it right, tell me. Therit. Let's check our time sync. It sounds like hear it with a T. Therit. 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 Okay. Let's check our time sync by going to the website. Time is. My time is in sync. So the risk of a move bigger than 75 ticks. If there's a move bigger than 75 ticks, that would stop us out because our outer tier is 50 and our stop is 25. And in the past 6 months, there has not been a move nearly that big. 58 was the biggest on the original spike. So they're expecting, they're not expecting great numbers. The numbers are under 50. The numbers are under 50. But the market does look at this data as being it's pretty serious, important data. I would probably look for a quick profit on this trade too. If I get an opportunity, if it bursts and drops or drops and bursts, if you see good money in your profit, it's worth trying to take it. You know, every now and then, I don't usually promote pressing the close button, but sometimes if a trade is ultra fast and it gives you an immediate big profit if you hit the close button, sometimes when you hit that button, you'll get the profit. Sometimes it jumps around so much when you finally hit the button, it's gone. It's at a different price. Gold is really volatile. So I'm just watching the markets. And then we're going to stay in the room for oil. And I'm sorry to say, I have to leave before the oil trade. I have an appointment I cannot miss, and it's very far away from where I am, unfortunately. So maybe what I'll do is leave my charts on so you can watch the breakout. So we're just sitting tight. We've got about 2.5 minutes for the news to be released. There is a little bit of a secondary report, always trades with ISM, the construction spending, month over month. It's not a very meaningful report, but there is no oil at 10 o'clock. There's no distillate fuel at 10 o'clock. Investing.com's website has an error. They have the wrong news at the wrong time. So we've got 1.5 minutes. I'm watching the ES because we've been also testing an ES trap on this report. So we've got a little more than a minute. So the most important data is the manufacturing PMI. They're expecting 48. They also do look at the manufacturing employment numbers and prices also. You know, the pricing part is potentially inflationary. So these ISM reports are pretty important. They talk about them all the time on TV. If they're talking about them on TV, it means the market makers are watching them. So my orders will show up 5 seconds before the news comes out. That's about 3 seconds from now. There's my orders. Okay, now we're not getting a big enough burst. I may not get a big enough burst to fill me. I'd wait about 20 seconds. It was not a great breakout. If you noticed, it was not a great breakout, okay? Totally changed direction. So we did the right thing here. Now, we're just not getting the kind of action that I want to see from a trap trade. So I hate to say it, but I have to cancel this trade. I hate to do it. I have to cancel this trade. There's no fill. No fill. So I would cancel now. We didn't get the move we needed. It's not the end of the world. Not the move I wanted. I think even using that smaller tier, I still don't think I would have been. No, I wouldn't have been filled on the outer tier at 45. I was thinking of using a 25 tier on my inner tier, and I didn't. But I don't think it really made a difference. It really didn't make a difference. Now, Calvin likes to trade the MNQ, so good for you, Calvin. Good for you. Calvin traded the MNQ or the NQ he likes. I do not like the NQ on most news. If I can avoid it, I will. It's just too thin and it's too whippy. I don't like the whips. So, Calvin, I think you got a little bit of luck probably on that trade. Fred, I can't believe you got filled on MGC. That's crazy. That's crazy that MGC moved so much more than regular gold. Micro gold had a much bigger move. Much bigger move. And Chantal says she got filled before the report. Now, that doesn't bother me that much, getting filled before a report with a trap trade, because the odds are good you're going to get a change in direction. So I would not panic if I got filled before a report. I would not panic. I don't love it, but I wouldn't panic over it. And Fred, you used pretty big brackets. So the reason I don't care if I get filled before, because let's say you get filled before, it's a coin toss as to the direction. So you got a 50-50 chance of getting a two more reversals. You've got more than a 50% chance of getting two more reversals. So yeah, MGC has been more whippy, definitely, than GC. No question about that. Larry traded an ES trade. Very nice. Good for you, Larry, trading a discretionary ES trade. Everybody has their own methods. Not everybody just follows us. And that's something really important to realize. Really important to realize. So I'm disappointed I didn't get filled. My bracket, my tiers weren't even that big. My tiers were not even that big. I definitely wanted to get filled. So it's too bad. It's too bad. All right, folks, I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on the next stream. Really appreciate it. So don't forget, you could still sign up for our challenge on YouTube if you want to join up with us and take part in every trade room. You can do that. Let me just show you the screen before you go. Here's the screen. It's not too late. If you could sign up for the challenge, join tlcnow.com. A couple hours left because it's closing when the class starts. Class is at 4:30. So thanks for watching, everyone, on YouTube, and we'll see you at next week's stream of the week. Okay?